Ladies and gentlemen, it would not be accurate to say that all the details of the recent meeting between President Erdogan and President Trump have yet been fully disclosed to the public. What we know comes from partial statements made by both leaders and officials. Bringing these together, I wish to share with you the picture as we see it, consistent with the Zafer Party's principle of defending Turkey's sovereignty and national interests. Some media have described the talks as excellent. The US ambassador also claimed excellent results. Time will show for whom this excellent truly serves. It is not without significance that President Trump began the Oval Office meeting by revisiting his own claim of rigged elections in the United States. Pointing at President Erdogan, he declared he knows about rigged elections better than anybody. Such remarks delivered before cameras are not incidental. They suggest parallels between Turkey's democratic process and contested elections abroad. This remark will inevitably spark debate both internationally and within Turkey. We must underline a clear principle. The legitimacy of the President of the Republic of Turkey comes only from the will of the Turkish nation. No foreign leader, no Congress, no international body has the authority to confirm or to deny that legitimacy. Any implication otherwise is unacceptable. Equally troubling was President Trump's decision to reopen the issue of Pastor Brunson at the very start of the meeting. This episode, already marked by undiplomatic exchanges, remains painful in the Turkish public's memory. Raising it again was not the act of a friend, so I'll go into issues raised into the meeting. The Halki Seminary. The reopening of the Halki Seminary was requested. Religious freedom in Turkey are guaranteed, yet any reopening must occur strictly within our sovereign higher educational framework and in full compliance with the Lausanne Treaty. Decisions taken under external pressure would weaken Turkey's authority and recall an era of capitulations. Energy relationship with Russia, President Trump and also pressed Turkey to limit its energy ties with Russia. Indeed, he publicly urged us to cease buying Russian oil. Yet, such pressure overlooks the realities of existing contracts and strategic energy needs. Turkish industry and households cannot absorb abrupt transitions. Diversification is wise, but not at the cost of sovereignty or economic stability. Just this week, Turkey's Energy and Natural Resource Minister announced that the state agency BOTAŞ signed a 20-year LNG supply agreement with Mercuria, covering nearly 70 billion cubic meters of gas starting in 2026. This proves that Turkey is already diversifying its energy sources, but diversification must serve the national interest. Reliable, affordable supply for our citizens and industries, not politically motivated contracts that impose higher costs. We also welcome diversification in civilian nuclear cooperation, but this must rest on proven, safe, and cost-effective technologies. Most importantly, it must include technology transfer and local participation. Without these, cooperation becomes dependency. I would like to address additional matters of concern. The Halkbank case. The issue of US penalties on Halkbank resurfaced, with reports of a request for relief. Details remain uncertain. The Zafer Party will track this closely to protect Turkey's legal and financial integrity. There was also discussions included a possible Turkish Airlines order for over 200 Boeing aircraft. Such deals raise expectation in media, but we must ask, what real industries benefit will Turkey gain? With the supply chain technology and life cycle value aligned with national interests, or merely serve optics. Another issue raised was the F-35 program. Trump has signaled openness to lifting the F-35 ban. But we must be cautious. Re-entry will not occur automatically or without conditions. Congressional resistance is strong. Dozens of US lawmakers already oppose Turkey's return. Any agreement must carry binding protections, not be at the mercy of shifting US politics. Sanctions and Congress and CATSA, many aspects of sanctions relief remain subject to U.S. congressional approval. If Congress refuses, we risk sudden reversals, tariffs returning against Turkish exports, harming our farmers and industry. Turkey must demand structural safeguards and reciprocity clauses. But there is also a deeper contradiction. The United States calls Turkey a NATO ally and strategic partner, yet continues to impose CAATSA sanctions on us for the S-400 purchase. How can an ally be treated as an adversary? This inconsistency undermines the very foundation of an alliance. The Zafer Party insists no alliance can function if one party is punished for pursuing its own security needs. True partnership requires equality, trust, and respect, not double standards. Turkey's S-400 system remains unresolved. Whatever path forward is taken, it must not be used as leverage to compromise our sovereignty in air defense. It remains unclear whether U.S. support for PKK-YPG elements was addressed. For Turkey, this is not an optional item. It is a matter of national security. We expect unequivocal cessation of such support and a framework for a unified Syria that does not permit a PKK-controlled corridor on our border. Also, reports suggest that Turkey's encouraged steps towards hostage exchanges and humanitarian measures. The Zafer Party report supports peaceful resolution and the safe return of captives. At the same time, Israel must end a war that has created a severe humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Lasting peace requires accountability, restraint, and respect for civilian life. We will follow emerging details and expect transparency every step. So there are several defense policy lessons. Turkey's recent defense experience offers critical lessons. The unresolved S-400 purchase blocked our access to the F-35 program and led to costs. Our indigenous projects, Kaan and Hürjet, faced delays because essential engine supply was never really secured. This is not a sign of weakness, it is a call to strength. Turkey is capable of advanced systems, but we must insulate ourselves from external dependency. The Zafer Party believes defense planning must be consistent, sovereign, and realistic. Our guiding principle is Atatürk's rational political realism. Foresight, accountability, sovereignty above all. With that, Turkey can convert past difficulties into a stronger, truly independent future. The Zafer Party affirms the legitimacy of Turkey's leaders comes only from the Turkish nation. Sovereignty and independence are non-negotiable. Foreign relations must rest on equality, reciprocity, and respect for Turkey's vital interests. Defense and energy policies must be anchored in foresight and strategic strength, not external pressure or short-term calculation.